In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to install and use the Stationer's Creative Cloud library. If you're interested in purchasing it, of course, I will link it below. If you have already purchased it, thank you. I think you are going to absolutely love this. So first of all, what is the Stationer's Creative Cloud library? It's basically an Adobe Creative Cloud library where you can access all of the die cut shapes and swatch palettes from our most popular vendors in the stationery world. These are mostly US vendors, so if you're outside the US, I am so sorry. These are the vendors that I work with the most. And you'll see here that it's divided into die cut shapes, wax seals, and ribbon color palettes, and then paper color palettes. That also includes handmade paper color palettes. And on the listing, there's a list of every single vendor that's included if you want to check that out. We're also updating this constantly, so there will be updates that you will have access to after you purchase for the lifetime of the product. If you've never used a Creative Cloud library, it's basically a collection of assets that you can use in any program within the Adobe Creative Cloud. We typically use Illustrator, so I'm going to show it to you here. However, you'll also be able to use it in Photoshop, InDesign, etc. First, let's go about installing your library. The download that you purchased will have a link to a Google Drive folder where you can download the CC Libs file. And then when you open up Illustrator, you'll go into your libraries. If you can't see it, it will be under Window and then Libraries. The little icon looks like this with a little bookmark on it. Click right here and then click Import Library. Now you'll be able to select the library that you downloaded, your CC Libs file. So we'll grab the Stationer CC library. It will upload and then everything will be in here whenever you need it, as well as in all of your other Adobe programs. The biggest thing about this library is it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. So if there are palettes you don't use more often, you can delete them. If there are some that you do use more often, you can move them up to the top. You can move around the different folders into ways that are more applicable to your business and what you need as well. Typically, when we send out an update, we send a file with just the updates as well as a file that's the full library updated. So you can always add those updates alone without having to redo all the work that you've done already. So in here, we'll see die cut shapes. I'm going to start with the paper color palettes because I think it's slightly easier to understand those. So when you expand this, you'll see all of the different brands here, and then you can expand each individual brand as well. Some brands, like the Xena brand, will have further expansion because they have different lines under that mill name. Most of the brands have the name of the swatch behind it, so that if you want to just search up here, for instance, if we wanted to search the color Mist, we would be able to see it, and then also the name of the line that it comes from will come up with that. As you can see, some of them I had to abbreviate for length or the swatches stopped working. So you can see here we have Mist PW, which stands for Princewell, HSC, which stands for Honey Silksco. That's one of the ribbon colors. So you can see all of the different colors that have the word Mist in them. The only other real note is that if you have a star behind a color, that typically means it's metallic. And then under cards and pockets specifically, I did write which colors were proprietary, as a lot of their colors also belong to other lines. It's helpful to know that, for instance, coral, you're not going to be able to get from Color Plan, Announcement for just anywhere else. Now to use these in your document, you'll just select whatever item you want to turn into the color, and then you'll just select that color swatch. Now that color swatch is in your document. It's named Adriatic Sea and P, so you'll always have the ability to refer back to that. One thing I want to make clear is that these colors are not guaranteed to print to be an exact match to those colors. So for instance, this is Chartreuse from Color Plan. If you print this out, it may not print to match Chartreuse exactly because I don't know what programs you're printing from. I don't know if you're printing in RGB or CMYK. I don't know what printers you're using. And if we printed the same CMYK code on 10 different printers, we would get 10 different results. So keep in mind that this is not to print everything to be an exact match to these colors. If you need that, we also have a PMS matching guide that you can use if you're using Pantone matching. That will always ensure a perfect match. And if you need to digital print, we have a tool called the Printable Palette that I'll link in the description that can help you with that as well. The key here is to help you avoid having to get a bunch of swatch books out and to make your design process a lot faster. You're trying to get to the point where you can show your clients a realistic mock-up of the colors, not necessarily to the point where it's going to print exactly right. For instance, if you're using Chartreuse envelopes, you're never going to need to actually print this color, so you can show it to your client, and then when it's time to print the text on the envelopes, you actually are going to delete that box anyway. You can check out the full list of vendors that are included on the listing, but again, we do have wax seals, ribbons, and in the paper color palettes, we also have handmade paper. Now, the second part of the library that's really, really helpful is our die cut shapes. Now, you might know that you can die cut pretty much any shape, anywhere, but die cuts are having a really big day lately. And if you have a standard shape that you follow, it can be a lot cheaper for your clients. So if you expand this, you will see a bunch of the standard offerings from a lot of our really popular printers. Basically, the only one that's a little weird is this copper willow dies. So we have a Google Photos document that has all of the dies in it, but they aren't digitized quite yet. So if you expand this, you'll get an image that has a link to that Google Photos folder. For everything else, you're going to get an actual die line that can work for you in this document. So for instance, if we were to expand this Studio Soprano dies, we would be able to sort through and see all of the different dies that she offers standard. They are a wonderful die cutting and letterpress vendor out in California. So if we were trying to design a suite and keep all of the die cuts as standard die cuts from our letterpress printer or from the same printer, we'd be able to see all of our different options here. This is not necessarily exhaustive as people are adding new dies every day, so it's always worth it to reach out to them and say, hey, do you happen to have any new dies? And we will update this approximately once a year. But it's a good way to get started and to make your design process a lot faster. So for instance, we have this A7 wave die. So if I wanted to cut this card into the A7 wave, the only thing you'll need to do is press Alt when you drag this out for it to be most usable. So I'm going to press Alt, click on this, and then I'm going to let go of Alt and click here. And what that does is it ensures that we have an actual editable stroke. So as you can see, the template line is a stroke. We can change the color of it if we want. We can change it in width, etc. But it's a usable item for us in this document. If you don't press Alt, it might come in here as a piece of artwork that you need to embed, and then you'll have to ungroup, and then you'll have to release the clipping mask. And then I think, nope, you'll have to release the clipping mask again. And then we have this random rectangle. And now I believe we have another random rectangle. Okay, and now we have the stroke that we can change color and size on. So if you get to a point where it's not a stroke, you might just need to do some of those things. But if you press Alt, it's going to take all of that work out of it and just bring it in as a stroke here. Using these in every program will work a little bit differently. So if you get to a point where it's not editable, you can always come back to Illustrator and copy and paste it into InDesign or Photoshop, or you can do some of that like release clipping mask, embed, and kind of keep working on it until it gets to that stroke. And of course, you can combine these two elements of the library. So if you wanted to grab this die cut shape and then change the color of it to a color from a specific vendor, you can do that as well. So we can always select it from there, or if we know the name of the color that we want, we can also just search the current library until we find it. Sometimes that's a little easier. So we'll grab Coral from Cards and Pockets, select that. And now we've used both the color palette templates and also the die line templates to make our design process a lot easier. Now the last two things, I'm just going to show you how we use this in a different program. So again, you'll go to Windows and Libraries. And if we wanted to change this particular rectangle to the announcement converters rose nude, we can just click on it. So basically the same use cases. The die lines will come in various forms of editability. But if you're using like a raster program like Photoshop, then they're probably going to come in raster. If you're using a vector program, they'll come in vector. So the library is exactly the same. It just might be using the swatches and the die lines a little bit differently based on the program. And lastly, I just want you to think about how you can use this. So for instance, if we knew we wanted something kind of coral, maybe a coral ribbon, we could just search the color coral and see what different colors come up. So we see this Honey Silks Co. coral. They have a couple different options. We have Such Good Supply, which is usually velvet ribbon. They have a couple options. And then there might be some options that are not listed under coral, but still would fall under that color. So you can always go down into the specific ribbon color palettes and check them out as well. So I think when you start using this, you'll start to see like maybe you've never used Such Good Supply velvet before. They're really amazing velvet ribbon supplier. But you'll say, oh gosh, if I wanted to order from them, like what are the different colors I could use here? And as you start scrolling through, you might discover some color options that you've never used before. And it's nice that you didn't have to go to Such Good Supply and order samples necessarily. Of course, I always recommend ordering samples so you can see everything in real life, but this is going to help you explore vendors that you've never explored before, and it's going to cut your design time down so much. I use this thing almost every single day, and I hope that you see the incredible value that it can bring just having all of this information in one place. I do have another video about how you can make a library like this. So if there are any palettes that are not in here or die cut templates that are not in here that you'd like to see, you can always request them for a future update, or you can add them yourself. Just as a quick example, I have my branding colors, icons, logos, etc. in a convenient library here that I can always access as well. So with libraries, the possibilities are pretty much endless, but I love this Creative Cloud library that is specific to stationery vendors because it's just going to make your design process a lot faster. So let me know what questions you have about using the Stationer's Creative Cloud library in the comments. I will link it in the description if you haven't purchased it yet, and I hope you can see how it can save you just tons and tons of time, as well as if you have a small office like me, the space to get out all the swatches and have to clean them up every 5 seconds. You could even use this during your consults to kind of mock up some things on your computer versus getting out a million different samples from like the back of the closet. Let me know what questions you have. I'm so excited you're here, and thanks for watching. If you want to become a stationery designer, I have all the tools you need to start, grow, and scale your business, from pricing to Adobe tutorials to tools that will help with color print matching, because we all know that's a struggle. I got a little bit of everything at the resources link below, and you can book a one-on-one consult if you're not sure where to start.